Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fabulency's coming at you next with this Mantle Battle Harmony build 2.0. Now this is our second iteration of the Mantle Battle Harmony build. The original one was more about the super spam and trying to get our super back as much as possible, using it as whenever I can. But this iteration is more focused on the weapon damage buff that Mantle Battle Harmony provides. We're trying to beef up our weapons. We also got some Warmind cells, so let's go ahead and break it down. So for this build, we're going to use voidwalker. We're going to use a Tomb of Hunger, which is bottom 2 voidwalker. For the devour perk, whenever you consume your grenade or land a melee kill, you get devour, which if you get kills while devour is active, you get your health back, as well as you get grenade energy. So it's pretty much like having demolitionist on a timer, and you can keep refreshing it. So keep chaining together kills, keep refilling your health, keep getting grenade energy. A really powerful perk, especially one for a grenade build, which is kind of like a grenade build, I guess you can say. It's like half grenade build, half weapon build. But for this one, I feel like this is the most powerful one because of the amount of grenades you can get. So as for my loadout, we're going to be using something a little bit different. Now we're using a 7 Seraph revolver with Force Time to Charm Osmosis. Now you're probably thinking, why the hell are you using Osmosis? Well, since Mantle Battle Harmony, we can actually click on this first so you can understand. Takedowns with weapons that have a damage type matching your subclass element grant you super energy. While your super energy is full, you instead gain a temporary bonus weapon damage of the type matching your elemental subclass. So since this has osmosis, I can turn this kinetic weapon into a void weapon. So doing that allows me to proc the perks of Mantle Battle Harmony, and then when my super is full, I get that weapon damage buff to a 180. I was hitting like around 5,000 damage for a 180, which is really good, especially since the fact that this can spawn Warmind cells. I get Warmind cells as well. You can also use the Ikelos hand cannon, and let's say something like Threat Detector Rampage is probably a really good roll, but I don't have any of those, so we went with the 7 Seraph with osmosis, turn it into a void weapon. Now we're also using first and last out with auto loading demolitionist. Honestly, in the gameplay you're gonna see I was using the demolitionist roll, but with this one I can also swap this to vorpal weapon. Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. And for my heavy, we're using a cold duello auto loading cluster bomb. You guys have seen this thing. This is a monster. I love this rocket. It's probably my favorite rocket right now. It's probably right up there with two-tailed. As for my stats, we're using 32 mobility. We got 32 resilience. Now we have 104 recovery. I love having 100 recovery on a warlock. We got 47 discipline. We're going to get our grenade back much faster than what it says, so this is honestly fine. We got 29 intellect, and we got 100 strength. Now we're using 100 strength because when you land a melee kill, it procs devour. Since devour gives you your grenade back, I don't really have to focus on discipline, but since I want to be able to have devour as much as I can, if I get a melee kill, boom, I get devour. And then let's say if I run out of devour, I'm not able to get my grenade back, I can just get a melee kill. I have it on a 32-second cooldown, so it pretty much allows you to always have devour active some way. So let's go ahead and start with our helmet. We got a minor recovery mod. We got shotgun ammo finder, rocket launcher ammo finder. Again, if you need to swap any of these two out, you can. Like if you need to use a sniper, grenade launcher, you can do that. And then we got elemental armaments, weapon takedowns with a damage type that matches your subclass element have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. So like I said, going back to the osmosis weapon, this also works with osmosis. So I throw my grenade, turn my hand cannon into a void weapon. Then if I can keep getting kills with that, it can spawn elemental wells, which is going to give me some ability energy back. On my gauntlets, we got a strength mod. We got unstoppable hand cannon. Honestly, I didn't know what else to put here. Figured I would just throw on hand cannon unstoppable hand cannon just in case there's any champions or anything like that. I can take this into nightfall if I really need to. Hand cannon loader, of course, I think it's a must-have if you're running a hand cannon. And then we got global reach, so when my Warmind cells do blow up, they affect a greater distance. This also is a must-have for any type of Warmind build. Of course, like I said earlier in the video, my chest piece is Mantle Battle Harmony, which is also my exotic. I don't really have to go over it again, but as long as I'm using a void weapon, this thing beefs up any type of void damage. It can be void hand cannon, void special, void heavy, it doesn't matter. It just beefs up your void damage, as well as get you super energy when your super is not full. As for my mods, we're using a regular recovery mod. We got melee damage resist, concussive dampener, and then we got elemental ordnance. Defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. This is another way that I'm going to spawn these elemental wells. Since Devour is going to allow me to have so many grenades, this makes sense for me to run elemental ordnance because I'm going to be spamming grenades, spamming Devour, keeping myself alive, crowd controlling with the grenades. It fits right into this build. On my legs, we're using a strength mod. Now we got double innervation mods. Reduce grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. So if I'm generating orbs from my weapons or supers, or if my teammates are generating orbs of power, I pick those up. I get a nice chunk of grenade energy back. It's just another way that I'm working around having a low discipline stat. And then we got another Warmind mod, Rage of the Warmind, adds an additional solar damage to the explosion of your Warmind cells you destroy. So this really beefs up my Warmind cells and makes it just, they're already good as is, but this adds solar damage, which is really handy, especially for something like Nightfalls or Battlegrounds, because you never know when there's going to be a solar shield. Plus, just doing extra solar damage is always nice. And on my Warlock Bond, we're using a minor strength mod. Now we got double bomber mods, reduce grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So I drop a rift, I get a nice chunk of grenade energy. And then we got Fonts of Might, picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type, grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. So again, this goes right back into my osmosis weapons. If I throw my grenade, make my gun void, get void kills, spawn those elemental wells, throw some grenades, spawn those elemental wells, pick those up, I get a nice damage buff to void damage. And then with Mantle Battle Harmony, if my super energy is full and I'm getting void weapon kills, these two damage buffs stack, so I can pretty much turn my 180 hand cannon into a monster. Spawn Warmind cells, have insane ad clear with those. My hand cannon is doing a lot of damage. Any type of void damage is doing a lot of damage, and this is awesome. I love it. And as for my Warlock fashion, I tried to make these little lights right here, if you can kind of see underneath Mantle Battle Harmony. I wanted to make them purple, so I figured I'll kind of build around that. We got the purple lights here on my arms, we got the purple lights coming off my head, purple hologram right here, purple lights here. Everything else is like black or gray, and I don't know, I really like it. I love the purple helmet. It really suits this build and what I'm trying to accomplish here. I feel like a true devourer, right? But let me know what you guys think. Shaders will be in the description below. So I think that there's only a few builds in Destiny that truly have it all. When I say have it all, I mean ad clear, sustainability, and boss damage. Some of them have really good boss damage, like using Sirius as a falling star. Some of them have really good ad clear, and some of them have really good sustain. So this build, I would say, has literally all three. I can keep myself alive using Devour. I have ability spam because Devour gives my grenade back. I got Elemental Wells, which is going to give me a damage buff from our weapons, so I can use my weapons if I want to, or I can spam abilities. I can pop my super if I need to pop my super. I can do a nice bit of chunky boss damage right there. I got my rockets, so I can do extra boss damage. There's so much damage and there's so many things. Oh, I forgot to mention I have Warmind cells, so that's even more ad clear. This build literally has it all. I feel like a one-man army. Truly feel like a one-man army, and not too many builds can say that. Although I do like my super spam, my ability spam builds, honestly, this is probably the most fun I've had on a build that's not focused around super spam or ability spam. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of ability spam with my grenades, but usually when I think of ability spam, I wouldn't think of this build. This is more of my weapons. I spawn the Warmind cells, I buff up, making my weapon void, buff the void damage, and do crazy weapon damage. So I wouldn't really think of this as an ability spam build, although I guess you can say it is. But this is the most fun I've had on a weapon-based build in a long time, man. Mantle Battle Harmony is a sick exotic. There's so many synergies that can work here, and it goes well with so many different weapons and so many different type of playstyles. There's so many more builds that I want to try with this thing. Like, we got the Arc one, we're doing the Void one now, and eventually there's going to be a solar one. So there's going to be Mantle Battle Harmony 3.0, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But you guys have to get this exotic. It is a good one. I guess that the only downside to this build is not being able to spam my super or use my super as much as I can. But that doesn't mean that I can't use it, right? I still can use it, just not as much as I would like to. But I think that is a fair trade-off for what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm focusing on the weapon damage buff side of Mantle Battle Harmony as opposed to the super spam side of Mantle Battle Harmony. So I love that there's like two sides to how you can use this exotic, which is why I think it's one of the best in the game. If not, I wouldn't say it's the best Warlock exotic. I don't know, maybe, but it is a really good Warlock exotic. I just can't wait for those stasis weapons to be added in Season 15. Then I can use Mantle Battle Harmony with a legendary stasis weapon. Oh my god, I cannot wait for that day. But for right now, we got to use our light subclasses, and they're still good. Plus, they were also saying in the State of the Game article that they're going to look into buffing them, making them as good as stasis. So definitely can't wait for that buff, but I just can't wait to use those stasis weapons, use Mantle Battle Harmony, and get to work and get to build crafting with that, because that is going to be amazing. I'm very, very excited. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go ahead and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fat_balloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.